He called her useless in their own living room, in front of guests. No hesitation, no regret. What would you do if your husband replaced you slowly? Amara didn't cry. She didn't argue. She smiled and poured the wine. Across the room, Vanessa touched the diamond necklace. $20,000. A gift never meant for a wife. Ethan watched them both, proud of his control. He thought he was untouchable. But Amara had already read every message, every late-night promise, every hidden transfer. She knew before the first lie was finished. 10 days earlier, she stood in a glass office. Numbers moving across 3 monitors. Quiet. Precise. The company was bleeding cash. No one noticed. Except her. She rerouted contracts. Closed a silent gap. Saved over $4 million overnight. Ethan signed the reports without reading them. He never asked who fixed it. He never saw her hands holding everything together. That was his first mistake. 3 days later, another transfer hit the system. Larger. Riskier. Vanessa's project. Ethan called it visionary. Amara called it empty. She traced every dollar. Every shell account. Every signature he rushed through. Her voice stayed calm. Her eyes stayed soft. But her plan was already moving. That night, she opened her phone. One contact. Vanessa. No anger. Just one sentence. We stay on schedule. Silence followed. Agreement without words. Back in the house, Ethan raised his voice again. Said she contributed nothing. Said he was done. Amara listened. Then she reached for her ring. Slid it off slowly. Set it on the table. And for the first time, Ethan didn't realize everything had already been taken from him. The house felt colder the next morning. Her side of the closet stayed empty. No perfume. No soft footsteps before sunrise. Ethan noticed the silence first. Then the schedule collapsed. Breakfast never appeared on time. His calls stacked without answers. His assistant sent 3 urgent emails before noon. A supplier pulled out of a key contract. No explanation. Just a polite withdrawal. Ethan blamed the market. He blamed timing. He did not say her name. At the office, numbers started drifting again. Small errors at first. Then larger gaps appeared. Reports came in late. Figures did not match. He signed them anyway. Vanessa watched him, quiet, careful. She handed him another proposal. Bigger investment. Faster returns. He agreed without reading. That was another mistake. By afternoon, his assistant stepped in, hesitant. She lowered her voice. Said the last stable quarter was handled by Amara. Said she caught a $4 million leak alone. Ethan paused, just for a second. Then he brushed it off. Said anyone could have done it. But the assistant did not nod. She stayed still. That silence lingered longer than expected. Back at home, a notice waited on the table. Legal documents. Clean. Precise. Filed already. His name printed beside hers. No argument left to make. Ethan felt something shift. Not loss. Not yet. Just pressure building somewhere unseen. That night, another alert hit his phone. Funds moved again. Larger this time. Into Vanessa's project. He smiled. Thought it was growth. Thought it meant control. But across the city, in a quiet office, Amara closed a file. Every transfer logged. Every signature verified. Nothing missing. Nothing accidental. Only one question remained, and it was getting louder. When the final document surfaces, how much of his world will still belong to him? Amara stepped into a glass conference room that overlooked the river. The city moved fast outside, but inside, people waited for her. 3 executives stood when she entered, not out of habit, but respect. One of them had ignored her emails months ago. Now he pulled out a chair for her. That shift was quiet, but impossible to miss. She placed her folder on the table and spoke clearly. No hesitation. No second guessing. Within 10 minutes, the room changed direction. A failing logistics contract was restructured on her terms. A risk no one wanted to touch suddenly had a plan. One manager leaned back and said it out loud. We should have brought you in earlier. No one disagreed. That was new. A week ago, she was invisible in her own home. Now, people asked for her opinion before making decisions. Her phone buzzed during the meeting. A private message from a partner firm. They wanted her on a larger deal. Not a favor. A formal invitation. Back across town, Ethan sat in his office staring at another broken report. Numbers slipped again. Deadlines missed. The same system she once held together now moved without control. His assistant knocked once and stepped in. She said 2 departments requested Amara by name. Not him. He did not respond right away. He just stared at the screen longer than usual. Something did. not feel right anymore. That night, he opened his email and saw her name again. Not as his wife. As a consultant attached to a competing proposal. His company was listed on the other side. He leaned forward slowly. Read every line this time. Every detail was clean, strategic, familiar, too familiar. For the first time, he did not feel in control of the outcome. And somewhere in the structure of that deal, one question began to press harder than before. How much of his own company had she already learned to move without him knowing? The conference room door opened before Ethan could knock twice. A junior associate stepped aside quickly. "She is expecting you," he said, almost careful. That tone was new. Ethan walked in and stopped. Amara stood at the head of the table. Not beside it. Not behind it. At the head. 3 senior partners sat across from her. Laptops open. Notes ready. One of them looked up at Ethan. "We are in the middle of something," he said, calm but firm. Ethan blinked once. That had never happened before. Amara turned her head slightly. She saw him. No surprise. No tension. Just acknowledgement. "You can stay if you are here for the proposal," she said. Her voice was steady. No edge. No emotion. That unsettled him more than anger ever could. He took a seat without being invited. Another shift he felt immediately. The screen lit up with numbers. Clean projections. Clear structure. His company's name appeared on the risk side. Not the lead side. He leaned forward. "This does not make sense," he said. Amara did not look at him. She clicked to the next slide. "It makes sense if you read the full agreement," she replied. One of the partners nodded. "We reviewed it twice," he added. "It is solid." Ethan felt the room move without him. That had never happened before. He spoke again, sharper this time. "You are using internal data." Amara finally looked at him. Calm. Direct. "I am using what was overlooked," she said. No apology. No hesitation. The partner on the left closed his notebook. "We trust her numbers," he said. "That is why we are here." That line landed harder than anything else. Ethan sat back slowly. For the first time, he was not the authority in the room. He was catching up. Amara continued speaking. Terms. Conditions. Exit strategy. Every piece connected. No gaps. No weakness. He recognized the structure. It was how she used to fix his problems. Quietly. Invisibly. Now it was in front of him. Owned by her. When the meeting ended, the partners stood first. One of them shook her hand. "We will move forward with you leading," he said. Not consulting. Leading. Ethan stayed seated. He watched that moment longer than he should have. As the room cleared, he finally spoke. "When did you start building this?" Amara picked up her folder. "Before you stopped paying attention," she said. Simple. Final. She walked past him without slowing down. He turned in his chair, something tight in his chest. That was not anger. Not yet. It was the first clear sense of being behind. Then his phone buzzed. A legal notification. Updated filing. Joint financial agreement attached. Filed weeks ago. Before the divorce even started. He stared at the date. Then at the signature line. And for the first time, he realized this was never just about the company. The next morning, the boardroom filled before Ethan arrived. Chairs taken. Screens already on. That never used to happen without him. He walked in late and felt it immediately. No one stood this time. No one paused their work. A senior partner nodded at him briefly, then turned back to Amara. She stood near the screen, explaining numbers with calm precision. Clear. Direct. No wasted words. A chart shifted. Revenue streams realigned. A failing division suddenly showed profit potential. One executive leaned forward, impressed. "We missed that completely," he said. Another added. She did not. That line stayed in the air. Ethan looked at the screen again. He had seen those numbers before. But never like this. Never connected. Never controlled. Amara clicked again. Contracts appeared. Names. Dates. Signatures. All verified. "These agreements are already active," she said. Not a proposal. A fact. The room adjusted to her pace. Not his. That was new. A junior analyst spoke up carefully. "We have already started transitioning under her structure." Ethan turned fast. "Since when?" Silence answered first. Then someone replied. "Since it started working." That hit harder than anything else. He sat down slower this time. No one waited for his approval. The meeting moved forward without it. Another screen showed projected losses shrinking. Fast. Efficient. Controlled. Amara did not raise her voice. She did not need to. Every answer landed before questions finished. That control was visible now. No one questioned her authority. That had never happened before. Not even with him. Across the table, a partner extended a contract toward her. "We want you leading this transition," he said. "Public. Clear. No hesitation." She accepted with a simple nod. No smile. No reaction. Just confirmation. Ethan watched that moment closely. That was not support. That was ownership. His phone buzzed again. Another alert. A major client requested to renegotiate directly through her team. Not his. He read the message twice. Same result. He looked up at her. Really looked this time. Calm posture. Steady tone. No need to prove anything. That was new. That was dangerous. After the meeting, people stayed around her, asking questions, taking notes. One even thanked her quietly. That never happened before. Not to her. Not in front of him. He stood alone near the door. For the first time, he did not control the exit. As she walked past, someone held the door open for her. Not for him. Small moment. Clear shift. He followed her into the hallway. "You are moving too fast," he said. His voice was lower now. Less certain. She stopped. Turned slightly. "No," she said calmly. "You are just seeing it late." No anger. No edge. Just truth. She kept walking. He stayed there longer than expected. That was the moment something changed. Not loud. Not obvious. But real. His control was not slipping. It was already gone. Back in his office, he opened the legal file again. The agreement looked simple. Too simple. Until he noticed the earlier date. Weeks before everything collapsed. He scrolled further. Found another signature. Not hers. Not his. Vanessa Reed. Witness and co-beneficiary. His chest tightened slightly. That name should not have been there. Not like that. Not this early. Not this involved. He leaned back slowly. One question pressed harder than the rest. How long had they been working together before he ever thought he was in control? That night, Ethan stopped looking at new reports. He opened old ones instead. 3 years back. The quarter that made his name. The deal everyone praised him for. He pulled the original files slowly. Numbers looked familiar at first glance. Then something felt off. The margins were too clean. Too precise. He scrolled deeper into the metadata. One name appeared again and again. Not his. Amara Cole. Not as author. Not as lead. Just reviewed and adjusted. He leaned closer to the screen. Adjustment logs filled the margins. Hundreds of small corrections. Risk flags removed before they grew. Losses redirected before they surfaced. He sat back slowly. That quarter was not luck. It was not instinct. It was controlled. By her. His chest tightened slightly. That was the deal that built his reputation. The one investors trusted. The one he claimed as vision. He opened another file. Then another. Same pattern. Her name hidden in the background. Always there. Never credited. Always fixing. Always protecting. A soft knock broke his focus. His assistant stepped in quietly. She held a folder this time. Physical. Not digital. "You should see this," she said. He took it without speaking. Inside were archived emails. Old threads he never opened. Subject lines marked urgent. Warnings about unstable vendors. Early signs of failed projections. Every one of them answered. Not by him. By her. Clear solutions. Immediate actions. He flipped through faster now. Page after page. Every crisis he thought he solved. Already handled. Before it reached him. He stopped on one line. Dated 2 years ago. A note from a senior partner. "If Amara leaves, the system will collapse." He blinked once. That email was never forwarded to him. He looked up slowly. The assistant did not move. "They all knew," she said quietly. No accusation. Just fact. He looked back at the folder. His hands felt heavier now. Not angry. Not defensive. Just unsure. That was new. He had built his identity on control. On being ahead. But this was different. This meant he was never ahead. He was protected. Carried. Covered. And he never noticed. Another realization settled in. All the moments he dismissed her. All the times he called her unnecessary. Those were not neutral. They were damage. Damage he did not understand yet. His phone buzzed again. Another update. A major investor had shifted alignment. Moved support toward her structure. Not his. He stared at the message longer than needed. The ground was not shifting anymore. It was gone. He stood up abruptly. Chair sliding back harder than intended. The room felt smaller now. He grabbed his keys without thinking. There was only one place left to go. One person left to face. But this time he was not walking in with answers. He was walking in with a question he could not ignore anymore. If everything he built depended on her, what exactly was left that still belonged to him? Ethan did not call ahead this time. He drove straight to her office building. Parked wrong. Left the engine running. That alone was unusual for him. Inside, the front desk stopped him immediately. "Do you have an appointment?" she asked calmly. He frowned slightly. That question used to never come up. "I just need 5 minutes," he said quickly. She checked the system, then shook her head. "She is in a meeting," she replied. No apology. No hesitation. He stepped aside, restless now. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. He stayed. That was new. The elevator doors opened again. Amara stepped out with 2 executives beside her. They were mid-conversation. Focused. Engaged. She saw him immediately. No reaction. No pause. She finished her sentence first. "Send the revised terms by 4, she said. One of the executives nodded quickly. "Of course," he replied. Ethan watched that exchange closely. They were listening to her. Not politely. Seriously. That had never been the dynamic before. She turned toward him slowly. "You should not be here without scheduling," she said. Calm voice. No edge. That landed harder than anger. "We need to talk," he said quickly. Faster than usual. Slightly off balance. She checked her watch. Not him. "You have 3 minutes," she replied. Not generous. Not harsh. Just controlled. They stepped aside near the window. City noise below. Quiet tension above. "I went through the files," he said. Words came faster now. "I did not know. About the reports. The contracts. You should have told me." She looked at him evenly. "You did not ask," she said simply. No blame. No emotion. Just truth. He exhaled slowly. "That is not fair," he said. His voice dropped slightly. Less certain. "You let me think I was handling everything." She did not move. "You wanted to think that," she replied. Clear. Direct. That shifted something again. He stepped closer without noticing. "We can fix this," he said. "Come back. We rebuild together. Like before." That word hung in the air. Before. She tilted her head slightly. Not confused. Not emotional. Just distant. "There is no before," she said quietly. That landed deeper than anything else. A boundary. Clean. Final. He felt it. This time. Fully. "So that is it?" he asked. A little sharper now. A little more exposed. She held his gaze. "You already ended it," she said. No anger. No raised voice. Just fact. Behind her, one of the executives approached again. "We are ready for you," he said. He did not look at Ethan. Not even once. That was the shift made visible. She nodded once. Then looked back at Ethan. "Your time is up," she said calmly. Not cold. Not kind. Just done. She turned and walked away without waiting. He stood there longer than expected, watching the door close behind her. Something settled in that moment. Not panic. Not denial. Something heavier. He reached into his pocket slowly. Pulled out his phone. One unread message sat at the top. From Vanessa. Just one line. "You should read the final agreement carefully this time." He stared at it longer than he should have. Then opened the attached file. And for the first time, he realized the next move was not his anymore. The courthouse hallway felt colder than outside air. Ethan stood near the doors, file still open. Vanessa walked in first, heels steady, expression unreadable. He stepped toward her quickly. "Tell me this is not what it looks like," he said. His voice was tight now, not confident. She did not slow down. She passed him without stopping. That alone said enough. Inside the room, Amara was already seated. Calm posture. Straight back. No tension in her face. The judge had not arrived yet. Papers rested neatly in front of her. Ethan walked in slower this time. He looked at both of them carefully. "You planned this," he said, more to himself. Vanessa finally spoke. "We protected what you tried to hide," she replied. Simple. Direct. No apology. He shook his head slightly. "You were with me," he said, looking at her. She met his eyes without flinching. "I was watching you," she said. That line landed harder than anything else. Ethan turned toward Amara. "You knew from the beginning," he said. Not a question. A realization. She did not deny it. From the first message, she answered calmly. No anger. No pride. Just truth. The room felt smaller now. He looked down at the papers again. Every transfer. Every signature. All legal. All binding. "You let me do all of it," he said. His voice dropped. Lower. She nodded once. "You insisted," she replied. That removed the last illusion. He stepped back slightly. "So everything is gone?" he asked. For the first time, There was no control left in his tone. Amara looked at him directly. "Everything you tried to move without me," she said. Clear. Final. That was the line he could not step around. He looked at Vanessa again. "And you just played along?" he asked. She held his gaze. "You made it easy," she said. No anger. No satisfaction. Just fact. Silence filled the space between them. Heavy. Unavoidable. The judge entered, but Ethan barely noticed. His attention stayed locked on Amara. "We can still fix this," he said suddenly. "One last attempt. One last reach." She did not react. Not even a breath changed. "There is nothing left to fix," she said quietly. That was it. No raised voice. No emotion. Just an ending. The words settled like weight. He stood there, unable to argue, unable to redirect. For the first time, he understood the full cost. Not just money. Not just control. He had lost the person who built everything beside him. And she was not looking back. The clerk called their names. Papers were passed forward. Pens placed on the table. Vanessa stepped beside Amara. Not behind her. Not separate. Beside her. That position said everything. Ethan looked at the documents one last time. Then at them. Both steady. Both certain. He realized something then. This was never about catching him. It was about finishing something he never saw begin. His hand hovered over the pen. And in that quiet second before he signed, one question pressed harder than anything else. When did he stop being part of her future without even noticing it? The courthouse doors closed behind them without noise. No cameras. No crowd. Just a quiet end to something long finished. Amara walked down the steps with steady pace. Not fast. Not slow. Just certain. Vanessa walked beside her, matching every step. No words needed between them now. Across the street, a black car waited. Driver already outside, holding the door open. That detail was small, but clear. Someone expected her. Someone valued her time. She did not look back once. Not at the building. Not at the man inside it. That choice said everything. Inside the courtroom, Ethan remained seated longer than necessary. The papers were signed, filed, done. No argument left. No angle to shift. He looked at his hands for a moment. Then at the empty chair across from him. That space felt heavier than before. Not because she left. Because he finally understood why. Outside, Amara paused near the car. One of the executives from earlier approached quickly. "The board confirmed your position this morning," he said. Respect in his tone. No doubt. No hesitation. She nodded once. "Calm. Send the final terms by tonight," she replied. Work continued. Not rushed. Not forced. Just part of her world now. A world that did not include him. The executive smiled slightly. "They trust you completely," he added. She did not respond. She did not need to. That trust was already visible. Already earned. She stepped into the car without looking back. The door closed softly behind her. Across the street, Ethan finally stepped outside. Sunlight hit his face, but he did not react. He saw the car. Saw her inside for a brief second. Then the door sealed. The engine started. The car pulled away smoothly. No hesitation. No pause. He stood there, still, watching it disappear into traffic. No anger left. No fight left. Just silence settling in. For years, he thought he was building everything alone. Thought control meant ownership. Thought presence meant power. Now the truth felt simple. He had never been ahead. He had never been in control. He had been carried by someone he refused to see. And when she finally stepped away, everything followed her. He did not move as the street filled again. People passed him without noticing. Just another man standing still. The city moved on without him. Somewhere ahead, Amara looked out the window briefly. The skyline reflected in the glass. Clean lines. Clear direction. No weight behind her anymore. No need to prove anything. No need to explain. She reached into her bag and closed the folder gently. No urgency. No tension. Just completion. The car turned at the next light and disappeared fully from view. And in that quiet distance between where she was going and where he remained, one truth settled without question. He understood everything now, but far too late, and she no longer needed him to understand at all.